Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the true and proper name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Waha, Quadash, Rakah, Barakathum, to you, Akim, that's teaching his word in truth and sincerity, and the confusion of faith, brothers that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and the few sisters that believe. All right, peace be unto you. Now, this is a commentary on Free from False Doctrine, former victim of Edomites and eschatology doctrine. You know, you got this black Christian, a.k.a. Black Caesar himself, Black Jesus, also known as Ssoreal or So Not, as brothers coined it. You know, he's doing an interview with an Edomite that's losing sleep about his future judgment, man. And he's trying to give this man comfort. He's trying to comfort the comfortless, the hopeless. Because according to the scriptures, according to the Bible, period, there is no hope for Esau. There is no hope for salvation. There is no hope for tranquility. There is no hope for peace. Because the Heavenly Father gave you a chance to have peace, tranquility. He gave you a opportunity to rule the earth in righteousness. And as a nation of people, you did the complete opposite. You created transgenders, sex robots, idolatry at an all-time high, sorcery and witchcraft. You enslaved his people, the Lord's chosen people, which are the Israelites, you so-called African Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and indigenous Indians from North, Central, and South America, and them that are scattered throughout all nations. You created GMOs, fluoride in the water, chemtrails, and the list goes on of the amount of wickedness that you did. And it's only right that you pay for each crime you committed against the Heavenly Father, for one, and against his chosen people. And you can't escape that judgment, Esau. All right? But just listen to this, brothers, and I'm going to read a few scriptures that totally cuts what this man is saying, man.
All right, thank you really a lot. So basically, the depression and anxiety really occurred this past summer, and I went down my sister's house because usually she comforts me with the doctrine, and we talk a lot about God. Through their doctrine about Edomites being destroyed, being killed, that they would be sent into slavery and stuff like that, I fell really into a deep depression, and I would spend most of my mornings and afternoons around the couch, not wanting to listen to music, not really wanting to watch, TV shows that I would normally watch. And all I can think about was the fate of my soul, because I felt that I was under the judgment of Edom, and not only that, that I deserved to be under the judgment of Edom. If I ever had any form of hatred inside of me, way of thinking was, I began to think about all of the innocent lives that were taken and that were brutalized through slavery and segregation and all those years of oppression. And I began to think about their prayers and how basically, why would God not answer them in their prayers? And then why would God all of a sudden answer me? So it was kind of a thing where, like, I felt like I didn't deserve prayers answered, or to be, and I haven't necessarily lived through oppression that they have. And I began to cast all this judgment upon myself. I had trouble eating. Like, I remember, they would order food from Applebee's or a pizza restaurant and stuff, and I couldn't have enough motivation or energy to sit at the kitchen table and eat because I was so deep in thought of everything that they were saying about the Edomites and about the judgment that I couldn't bring myself to do anything. Apart when you spoke about, and when I spoke about wanting to take my own life, that was some really serious stuff as well, because I was in a place where I felt like if I didn't matter to God, it didn't matter, that there is no point in living. There's no point in finishing college. There's no point in trying to find a relationship and get married, or ever having kids, ever really having a steady job and moving out. Because if it's all in vain, and it was all given to me through, I don't, like, if this wasn't for me, if I wasn't meant to have these blessings and they were going to get taken away from me, and no matter how much I prayed to God and how much I try to live a good life, if none of that mattered, then what's the point in it all? Like, what's the point if there's nothing that I can do to save myself? And all these videos that I've stumbled across really affected me. And emotionally, it just drove me insane. Like, I'm taking care of myself for a while. I stopped shaving, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't literally do anything apart from, watch these videos over and over again and try to find one fallacy in it that would convince me to believe otherwise. And like I said in the message, it has nothing to do. Like, I spoke to one of them before on a social media app, a Black Hebrew Israelite, and I was pretty much telling what I was going through. What I was going through was justice for what they went through.
Wow.
Yeah, he told me that it was justice. So basically, I explained to him the way I felt in my heart about all kinds of people that, like, those may or may not have been my actual ancestors that enslaved, but, like, he was just saying pretty much, oh, it's justice. God judges nations and the offspring of those. You don't have to be hateful. You don't have to be an oppressor. All you have to do is be an offspring, and that's what Edom is. And so there really was no rest for me in that area,
Wow. Let me ask you something.
Yeah, I can go to the page and listen to the rest. Leave your comments, leave your scriptures. Esau is through, man. Esau is losing sleep. All right? Esau is losing sleep. Now let's just get a couple of scriptures to go into this. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 30. It says, "Take good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee." Because that's who the Lord resides with. That's who the Lord deals with. Jerusalem. Which Jerusalem is a city in the land of Israel. And who dwells in the land of Israel? Well, used to dwell in the land of Israel, the Israelites. Not them gutter rat, Ashkenazi, Khazars, Edomites that dwell in the land today, also known as Israelis. But the Israelites are you so-called African Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and indigenous Indians from North, Central, and South America, and the rest that are scattered abroad. Okay? You are Jerusalem. You are Israel. You are Zion. Okay? For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. The Heavenly Father, which his true name in the Hebrew tongue is Yahweh, is going to comfort us because he's going to change the tides of the predicament and the conditions that we live in, that impoverish, oppressed, and depressed state. Okay? Miserable are they that afflicted thee. So the nation of Edom, which is the Caucasian race, and the rest of the heathens are going to be miserable, as the scripture coined. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Because despite this one cracker, okay, this one Edomite that's singing the sad story, which the scriptures speak about, though he humbled himself, and we're going to get that, all right, not to trust him. He's still the devil that the Bible speaks of. Because you played this semantic to conquer the earth, the whole world. That you're a nice guy, you're charming, you're sweet, you're humble, you're peaceful. But as soon as you got the opportunity, you took a nation down. You stabbed a man in his back. You slept with his woman. You killed his kids. That's the MO of the Edomite. Okay? So it says, miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. So America and everywhere Israel dwells is going to be miserable. And as you can see, the condition that the world is in is not rising up. It's not advancing. It's becoming more into a primitive, savage state. Even though technology is increasing, the mind state of the people is going back to that primitive, savage, caveman state, because the caveman is the one that's in rulership. He's not living and dictating and governing the world according to the word of the Most High, according to the Lord's statutes and commandments, but he's governing and dictating and promoting in the earth darkness, sin, transgression of the law. Do as thou wilt, witchcraft, sorcery, homosexuality, transgenderism. Okay? So it says, miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, meaning the nations and the people that ruled over thee, all right, the nation of Esau and the heathen nations, for as she rejoiced at thy ruin, that great whore that sitteth upon many waters, aka Mystery Babylon the Great, and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. And that's this Edomite song, man. He's singing this sad song, which that sad song Israel been singing for over this past century. All right? This past 400, 500 years. Israel been singing this sad song, Lord deliver us, swing low, sweet chariot, come forth and to carry me home, wave in the water. We've been singing these spiritual songs for years, man. But now that it's your turn to go down, you want somebody to have sympathy and empathy for you. Well, guess what? The Bible speaks against that. The Bible is 100% against sympathy for Edomites, sympathy for the heathen nations, and all the enemies of the Lord.